Are you tired of your day-to-day life? Are you bored of slaving away as a junior financial analyst for Goldman Sachs? Rotting away in your office chair as a software engineer for a Silicon Valley tech startup? Burning your hands and arms from working the fryers at the local Wendy's? Well, have you tried gooning? Not that kind of gooning. I'm talking about being a real goon. If not, have you wanted to? Well, here's how to be a goon. Well, first you gotta know what a goon is. A goon is a thug, a hoodlum, a lackey, a henchman, a grunt, a mook. Goons do one thing and one thing only. They obey the boss. If the boss says rob a bank, then you rob the bank. If boss says to take this guy out back and teach him a lesson, you take him out back and teach him a lesson. If boss says make me an omelet, you ask how many eggs. All good evil masterminds have henchmen. It's a necessity. And that's why anyone can be a goon. They got big goons, small goons, fat goons, skinny goons, dumb goons, less dumb goons. Being a goon is inclusive. Unfortunately, since you're a goon, you kinda just gotta work with what you got. If you're big, then you're gonna be a big goon. If you're small, then you're gonna be a small goon. That kind of thing. How big you are determines your job for the boss. Big goons are probably going to be stationed to protect the boss and guard doors, like your size sends a message. The biggest of the goons waits until the good guy beats up all the smaller goons before pulling up and putting up a decent fight. Small goons are going to be the ones doing the labor, driving trucks, moving the materials, janitorial work, with the occasional fighting sprinkled in. How big of a goon you are isn't that important though. The only important thing is to remember that there are really two types of goons. The valuable kind and the disposable kind, and you don't want to be the disposable kind. If you're valuable, you get the special treatment. Boss likes you. You'll get extra cool weapons and get to lead the forces. If you're valuable to the boss, that means you're pretty smart. It'd be a shame to lose a goon like you. Try to be a valuable goon. Be extra help to the boss. You want the boss to keep you around, don't you? If you're disposable, you'll be faceless. The boss won't remember your name. You gotta share bunk with all the other goons. You'll get standard issue weapons, and you just gotta follow the pack. You're a grunt after all. You ain't special, but there sure are a lot of you. You gotta overwhelm the enemy with your numbers. But no matter what you look like, or whether you're valuable or disposable, you're still the extra muscle. Boss needs guys like you to do his job. Who else is gonna check on that weird noise outside? While the boss is up there with his smart big plans, you're here to help with the extra evil shenanigans and tomfoolery. So now that you know what a goon is, it's time to look the part. So how do you look like a goon? Normally, what you wear depends on two things. One, does the boss have a uniform he wants you to wear? And two, the type of job you're doing. If the boss has a uniform, just wear that and you'll be fine. It's usually easier that way. A nice company-provided suit really reduces the amount of laundry you need to do. Good example of company uniforms, you could look at the Foot Clan, Team Rocket, and Cobra. If the boss doesn't require a uniform, you're mostly safe with these two outfit arrangements. 1. The tactical fit. Ski mask, you gotta hide your face and it keeps your head warm. Tight shirt, you gotta show off your muscles. Flexible cargo pants. You're gonna be doing a lot of running and the pockets help you carry more ammo, weapons, and gadgets. Black combat boots. They're waterproof and they're not that comfortable, but they're good for anything. Tactical vest, preferably with body armor. The boss's enemies don't really use guns, but the pesky police do. It's extra protection and it looks pretty cool. Next, you got the dressed up fit. An ill-fitting suit. You gotta look dressed up for the job. You need a hat of some kind. And with hats, you got a few options. You got the bowler hat, fedora, beanie, flat cap, that kind of stuff. You gotta wear a decent pair of dress shoes and make sure your colors are drab greens and browns, kind of darkish colors. If you're a valuable goon, the boss will probably have you wear a nice expensive tailored suit. You'll get an earpiece and everything. For hairstyles, you got the classic buzz cut. You could go bald, or you could also have the greasy ponytail. The choice is yours. Now you look like a goon, but looking like a goon doesn't mean you're a goon. Now you need to start acting like a goon. First up, you gotta fix your posture and how you carry yourself as a goon. The way you walk and talk, eat and sleep need to reflect maximum goon. You need to have the body language of a soggy sandwich. Walk around with the swag of the middle-aged guy at the gym who claims that he's natural, but he's on TRT and extra supplements. The same guy who's unnaturally top-heavy because he never works out his legs. That's how you need to walk around. You gotta have the posture of someone who looks like they've never used a chair in their life, and you've only sat on milk crates and are sad all the time. You've heard of RBF. Well, as a goon, your RBF needs to be turned up even more. You gotta look at everyone like they are your wife's boyfriend and you left the stove on. Next up is the goon speech. You gotta communicate like a goon. Lucky for you as a goon, you really won't be talking that much. Most of your communication will be through single line dialogue. Like if the boss asks you something, you have 4 possible answers. You got it, boss. Right away, boss. Sure thing, boss. Sorry, boss. And when talking to people who aren't the boss, you'll most likely be saying things like, what are you looking at? Boss says no one gets in. If the boss says you're alright, then you're alright. I'm gonna teach you a lesson. Boss ain't gonna like this. It's the freaking bat. And if you don't know what to say, just grunt. Works every time. Easy enough, right? As a goon, you'll need to have the charisma of a burnt chicken nugget. Just imagine you're an angry vending machine. Confidence is key. If you don't know what to do, just do whatever you think is the most intimidating thing and fully commit to it. For example, if someone asks you a question and you're not sure how to respond, just loudly crack your knuckles and stare at them. Being a goon ain't that hard. Now, in order to be a fully fledged goon, you gotta remember the single most important rule of gooning. Never question the boss. As a goon, you need to honor the sacred hierarchy. Up top is the boss, then everyone under him, like his assistant, his mini-bosses, his captains, squad leaders, etc. And there's you, at the bottom of the pyramid. Remember, you don't know anything. If the boss has a plan, like invading the sun or weaponizing laxatives, your job is to nod along. Boss is always right. His plans will always work, nothing ever goes wrong. So never suggest a better idea, because none of your ideas are better. You're not paid to think, you're paid to do. Now you have it. Now you could be a real goon, a certified henchman, a glorified grunt. It's really not that hard. Once you know how to dress like a goon, act like a goon, talk like a goon, it's pretty simple. Now go out there and make the boss proud.